To discuss truth in a friendly surrounding like we do at home at the kitchen table. I'm your host, Dr. Smith, along with my co-host, Deacon DJ Jones. We will lead compelling, relatable, and honest conversations. We'll talk about wealth, economics, how to solve our community problems. Our guests will range from community leaders, professionals, and real people whose stories will touch and inspire you. My vision is to catalyze, energize, and bring people together. If you'd like to be a guest on the kitchen table, you may call us at 269-282-1490 or email us at kingdombuildersworldwide2@gmail.com. I am excited. I'm excited to have a guest, our brother, our friend, Pastor Christopher J. McCoy, Executive Director of New Level Sports and Senior Pastor of Faith Assembly Christian Fellowship. You didn't know I knew about that J, did you?
It's New Level Church.
New Level, yes, sir.
New Level Church.
Oh, New Level Church, yes, sir, yes, sir. First of all, before we bring on our guest, Deacon, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Bishop. And before you start the show, I do want to say it does me some good to see two very well-respected leaders in the community get together. And, my personal opinion is I hope this is the start of a great team,
Yes,
working
sir.
together and accomplish some things in Battle Creek because the city of Battle Creek needs men like you.
Yeah.
Okay, I do want to say that. But I'm having a great day so far, Bishop.
Good to see you, man. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we had a chance to have a wonderful service this week and today and the great weather we had. Before we, Pastor, bring you on and get into this topic, let's talk about your father, the legacy he left and with you and the large shoes he placed, but then you were able to, create your own shoes. If my information is right, Pastor was 84 when he passed away, so he'll be 88 in August of 2022.
Yeah.
Somewhere like that. Talk to me about, he gave me a robe to preach.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. And we go back with your family about 40 years, the Joneses. Matter of fact, I think it's your aunt.
Aunt Doris.
Savannah Jones was my church mother.
Yes.
Okay. And is that Charlotte?
Charlotte.
I was at her wedding, if you recall.
Yep.
It's years ago.
Long time ago.
And then with the Smiths, Sherelle went to school with Sherelle, Bishop U and Bishop Tino.
Yep.
Matter of fact, what the people don't know is that we bought Bishop U, Bishop Tino, and Sherelle to Sunday school. Fred Robinson was our Sunday school teacher. That was when it was open door.
Open doors, absolutely.
So we go back a long, long way. And I think what I heard what you said, Deacon Doug, is that it's about timing. This is a timing piece. And what I mean by that is that people in the community, you all need to get together. You all need to get together. Well, it's not their choice or their decision when we get together. God has his own timing. It's not about what people do or what they've done. I'm not interested in what a person does because if you look in the mirror, we all have done something crazy. I probably, like Paul has said, I'm the chieftain of sinners.
I'm gonna let you add that one too.
But it's like we have business to take care of today.
Yep.
And we have business to take care of from here on out. We were taught and brought up by men and women, great men and women, that were coming out of the civil rights movement. Matter of fact, my father was the first black educator in Howell, Michigan.
Yes.
He was a principal there, was transferred then to school district in Willow Run.
Yep.
From there, he was transferred here to Battle Creek to Lincoln School.
Yep.
Came the principal there. He probably would have been in jail in today's standards, because he was paddling kids, tell them don't come back to school until your mamas came back, all kind of things. He straightened Lincoln School out in 9 months, and then they moved him to Central Administration, where he served the Battle Creek Public Schools for some 30 years. At the same time, he started Open Door Church at the Village Inn Hotel in a room. I don't know if you remember, you related to the Sangos. Bessie Sango, Roxanne, they were our first members. Annette, we grew out of that hotel room in 2 weeks, went to 283 West Michigan Avenue, the white building where Printex used to be there in West Michigan. And then we moved to the location we're at now. So we've been here in Battle Creek since the 60s. I think it's 68. First family I met in Battle Creek was the Dotsons. And Dr. Dotson was we've been best friends since we were 8, since the 3rd grade. Went to elementary together, junior high, high school, college, roommates. And then we married 2 women from the north side of Kalamazoo.
Good stuff.
He is now my executive pastor at, we don't call it New Level Church, we call it The Gathering.
The Gathering, okay. We'll
The Gathering.
Okay.
I think God has moved things for the church. We are only in the church building 2 Sundays a month.
Okay.
The other Sundays we're doing the things that God wants us to do, and that is going out into the highways and hedges and compelling men to come. So we have football games on Sundays. The colleagues was calling me, the preachers, you have football on Sunday? Yeah, because 1,800 people are not coming to the building, the brick and mortar, but they'll come to that field. And then we can talk to them on the field, we can talk to them at the golf course, we can talk to them at the farm. Everything that God has blessed us with, we have to use to compel men to come. So this is what my father, he put this, he actually formed this foundation. His ceiling became my floor.
Okay.
And he wanted me better than him. I told some people today that on my father's deathbed, he laid his hands on me and imparted to me what he had. A week later, he died. So I am to be better than him. That's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to give all I have now in my time, so whoever comes after me, they can be better than me.
That's good.
But they're going to have a high bar to
That's the way it is.
High bar to
Well,
reach.
before we talk about some of the things everybody want to hear about the ARPA, tell us about, I believe the date was March 17, 2020, when you all put the organized thing together. The men were wearing T-shirts, the 846 movement, the 8 minutes, 46 seconds. Just tell me briefly how that came to fruition and where are we at in that concept?
Right. So 846 came from this was in the height of COVID. And there was a group downtown, some brothers from Detroit, some consultants who they brought money into downtown to develop and to aid businesses downtown. I think it was $2.5 or $3 million that they placed downtown. And I was happy because the Kendall Street is the last street of downtown, they say. Okay? Because I was trying to get the city it's in the city notes now, in the minutes rather, that downtown ends at Kendall.
Okay.
So we're in downtown. So I'm happy because this $3 billion is about to come. Well, I'm excited. I'm telling to our friends, the men, the saying, hey, it's $3 million. We can help us with these businesses, and I'm happy. So I looked at the territory where the money was going to be dispersed. So it was from Division Street I think we're in front of somewhere around the city building, we're around there. Then it went up to Van Buren, took a left on Van Buren. I'm happy because they're coming our way.
Yep.
Coming down Van Buren Street, ooh, I'm happy. Things going, we getting this $3 million, we're gonna share in this $3 million. Got to the Cool Center, they're getting close. Got to Washington Street and took a sharp left. Okay, took a sharp left on Washington Street, went down to Hamlin, took a sharp left on Hamlin, and went back through the downtown. That's when I started calling out the red, and they made the lines red. It was a mistake.
Okay.
It was redlining. They redlined us. It wasn't right. If you look at Washington Street East, there's hundreds of millions of dollars worth of development. Washington Street West looks like Beirut, but we're downtown. I wasn't going for that. So we had to do this in secret. So we started calling. We were already having a men's group. We were talking every week, and we called, and about 60, 70 men showed up in secret. And we put on the Marcus Garvey red, black, and green
Okay. That's right.
flag shirts.
Okay. Okay.
One of our businessmen put together a mask,
Okay.
red, black, and green. 846, we know it was a little bit more time now, but that was the time that the police had his knee on my man's neck and killed
Floyd.
him,
Yeah.
George Floyd.
Gotcha.
So when we walked down to downtown in silence, it scared the city to death because of who was with us, who was marching. We had everybody from drug dealers to corporate executives walking with us. And I put the biggest, blackest, tallest men in front, the ones that'll make the women grab the purse.
Right.
All right? Put them in front. It scared everybody. We stopped at Raffinet's first. There's only 3 black businesses downtown. We prayed in front of Raffinet's, and then we wrote them a $1,000 check, and we made a commitment that we would support their business every month. Walked across the street to Marquita, the sweet sensation, I believe that's the name is. Prayed for her, wrote her a check for $1,000. We committed to her. These are men, black men. Then we walked down on the way to Mildred's. We stopped at the Battle Creek Community Foundation and kneeled for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Why? Is because the money that they were receiving was not getting across Washington Street. It wasn't coming Washington Street East or Washington Street West. It was staying downtown. After that, we walked over to Mildred's. We prayed at Mildred's. Mildred's is our mom. Everybody knows Mildred Mallard. Mildred Mallard she is the only property owner in the heart of downtown for a black woman, a black business.
Yeah.
Mildred Mallard is. And they're trying their best to pry that property from under her, and that's not gonna happen. We prayed for her, gave her $1,000, then we walked to the W.K. Kellogg Foundation on their porch, and all those men kneeled all the way around. 8 minutes and 46 seconds, we were done. We got a meeting with those executives at the foundation, WKKF. I call them our queens. And first, when we met, I told them that we're taking responsibility for our city. We weren't asking them for anything, but they knew what we were doing. We not only did we march, but we had a plan called the Village Reemergence Plan. It was one of the most comprehensive plans that ever has come out of the black community. It went dark for about 60 days. They didn't know what to do with it. Because here we have a plan that has been in the making since 2015, and it lined out everything from top to bottom. which we'll get into.
Yep.
We then got that $2.5 million, which we appreciate, but that $2.5 million had to be split between 11 businesses. We had 50 applicants just in the Washington Heights community. That wasn't Post Addition, it wasn't Meacham, it was just in the Washington Heights community. 50 African Americans wanted to start a business.
So what was the criteria? Was there any criteria for?
Well, my
getting that
complaint
money?
is that you had to have so much money for the program that was downtown. I think you had to have like 40% of your total budget.
Okay.
Well, if black people had that money sitting around, we wouldn't need aid. We wouldn't need help. So we removed those barriers, and instead of the money barrier, we required those businesses to go through an 8-week education training, business education training, which they had to do to eliminate that to get that money.
Okay. So, Pastor, so this is great because what he just did was he kind of got us started in where we're going. $30.5 million, the American Rescue Act plan. It's a federal plan. It was to given to communities to recover from a COVID-19 pandemic. The city of Battle Creek was set to receive $30.5 million, a half in 2021 and a half in 2022. The Battle Creek community groups received nearly $8 million in these HARPA funds. Now, before we go forward, I want to talk about that word maldistribution, where we talk about if something is actually being distributed fairly. Now, Pastor McCoy is going to share his thought on how that went down, but we just heard so many things his organization is already doing. But before we do that, what I want to do is show you, I got a couple of concerns. Did the city commission essentially give the top scoring agency fundings that serve their own ethnicity? And then I'm going to mention, and this is no attack on anybody, the Burma Center service primarily the Burmese population. They do have organizations in their building, but those organizations pay rent to be housed in the Burma Center. VOSIS was ranked 3rd overall, and they serve the Hispanic population primarily. Now, it is my responsibility to mention Kingdom Builders. It will be Pastor McCoy's responsibility to mention his organization and others. Kingdom Builders, who made a proposal for grant funding for infrastructure projects, which is what the grant was intended. It serves communities, teenagers, drivers, senior citizens, exercise classes, and was not ranked in the top 10. Either was Pastor McCoy's organization. But that's not the issue. The issue is I'm going to share with the audience, get feedback from Pastor McCoy, allow you to share some of your thoughts. Deacon Jones have his device in front of him, so if you have questions, you may ask Pastor McCoy or myself. But before we do anything, I want to share this with you. Total funding. We went by rank only. Burma Center was number 1. Community Action was number 2. VOSIS was number 3. Share Center was number 5. United Way. Share Center was 4. United Way was 5. Star Commonwealth 6. Charitable Union 7. Catalyzing Community Giving 8. Rise 9. Washington Heights 10th. Your organization my organization wasn't even ranked in the top 10. Pastor, Pastor, are we dealing with personality? Are we dealing with ignorance? Are we dealing with racists? What's your thought on? What's your thought?
Well, first of all, that's hilarious. It's so funny. We've been in this for so long that those kind of things don't bother me.
Okay.
However, we have to unpack some things to educate our community. Let me read you something, Pastor and Deacon. This is during the height of the pandemic. I'm going to tell you what Youth Village and New Level Sports Ministries did during the pandemic.
Okay.
We brought in $10 million plus for the community. We started Early Learning Neighborhood Collaborative during the pandemic. We passed out 40,000 pounds of food in 2 hours. We passed out 2,000 PPE boxes in Washington Heights and Post Edition. We were walking door to door in the winter. We passed out food to the Latinx community, 200 boxes of food in 45 minutes. We started an online early childhood classes because the kids could not go to school. We started the first Burma Center early childhood run and operation in the United States, the first one ever during the pandemic. We provided counseling for the community. We purchased 35 acres of land around New Level Sports Ministries for our youth village during the pandemic. We never closed New Level Sports Building. We started an online Bible study. We marched downtown with 70 men for the Washington Heights Entrepreneurial Fund. We received $2.5 million to start 11 businesses. We conducted the Gear Up Leadership seminar during the pandemic. We created 30 jobs during COVID, and we started and continued Camp I Can program during COVID. And last year we served 200 plus boys and 50 cheerleaders in our football program during COVID, and we were ranked number 15.
So Pastor.
Wow.
Pastor. So would you agree, out of fairness, whether it was Kingdom Builders or New Level, we should have been 1-2 somewhere? Would you? I mean, you tell me what you do, and I know what I'm doing.
Well, what
you think?
This is it. There's a lot to unpack.
Okay.
So, first of all, the city and the city commission should not have been handling the ARPA money, the funds.
Okay.
That should have been given to another organization that was used to giving to community organizations, even if that organization came from out of town.
Okay.
It's obvious after I said this and after we look at what Kingdom Builders does, that they were either ignorant. Ignorant just means they don't know.
Don't know.
Ignorant's not a derogatory
Not at all.
word.
Not at all.
They were either ignorant or they were this was way over their head.
Okay.
The city leadership, weak. The city leadership is weak. Because anytime that you have commissioners, what ward are you in?
I think I'm 3.
3?
No, I don't think I'm 3.
I think you're 4.
4.
Who's your commissioner?
Mine would be, I'm mixed, you know. I got the young lady and I have, what's her name? Bonica.
Okay.
Bonica.
Now let me tell you something.
Bonica.
Right. Let me tell you something. Anytime, because they're young commissioners, they're new commissioners.
Mm-hmm. She's brand new.
Anytime our commissioners from Ward 2 and Ward 4 vote no for black leadership without talking to us first to tell us why they voted no or voting against us, that means that they're young and green. Mm-hmm. They have no idea what they're doing. What they should have done is finding Maud Bristol Perry, who was a black commissioner and our first black female mayor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They should have been finding Lynn Ward Gray, who was commissioner for years. They should be finding Carla Reynolds, who has experience at the county level and the city level, and they should be finding Rochelle Hatcher, who is a county commissioner, and they should have gotten under their tutelage so they know how to move politically in this community. You don't do that. You don't vote against two black leaders, black males, black men in this community, and make VOSIS and the Burma Center the #1 organizations above us. You're black.
Now, can I say something?
Hold on, Deacon. That's great. And one thing about leadership, we can all have our own differences and agreements. And he 100% right until he mentioned one name, because one name I wasn't even on her list.
Well, and I know the name, but
okay,
this is what I'm saying.
So in defense, you got one sister that I sure expected to be 1 and 2, and she, I think, may have just forgot my name.
Well, this is the thing, Pastor, and I know we have different styles.
We got different styles.
Now,
because let's just say, let's look at the rankings. Let's look at the rankings for a minute for our African Americans. For our African Americans, Bhumika Herring, if I'm saying it right.
Yeah.
She did get Washington Heights #1. She gave Rise a full organization, which really not gonna. I mean, it's cool, but it can't really. #2. She gave Workman Force Development #3. She gave Burma #4. I think she had to put me in there, man. And so she did give me #5. So praise the Lord. Hold up. Now, let me go to Carla. Because Carla got you. She took care of you. And that's what we got to do. We got to get to a point where, whether you like Pastor McCoy, Bishop Smith, we're both serving the community. I think personality got in the way. And we can't let personality get in the way of progress and business. If I never liked Pastor McCoy, but I do like Pastor McCoy, and I love his father, the man is doing a phenomenal job. Why would I not make him 1 or 2 is insane. But, Sister Reynolds, what is it about Burma? Everybody got Burma #1, but Burma Center 1, United Way #2, Catalyzing Community Giving #3, Community Action #4, Neighborhood #5. You were ranked 6. You didn't get in the top 5 by her. I was nowhere in the list. Now, Pastor,
I'm talking about you were ahead of me in the entire rank. I was 15.
I was 13.
Out of 29.
And I was 13.
I was below average.
And I was below average too at 13.
You know,
we both was rookies.
What's really strange is, from a community perspective, you know, hearing all what I've heard today, right? Knowing what I know about New Level, knowing what I know about Kingdom Builders and was involved, and I'm in it with everybody. Is it because the commissioners weren't engaged? I mean, I understand personality can sometimes get in the way, but you know, if you ain't sitting there, if you're not in it, if you're not seeing what's going on in the community, if you're not engaged, if you don't have your hand on the pulse of what's going on, you ain't got a clue. Is that part of it?
Well, Deacon,
if anybody says something, look into it. Go ahead.
Deacon, this is what I'm saying. They should not have been handling the ARPA funds.
The commissioners.
Period. The commissioners, nor the city, because it was way out of their league.
Okay.
Because anytime you have a rubrics and you're scoring, if New Level Sports is not even in the top 2, you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
You don't know what you're doing. So we see that they don't know what they're doing. So let me just say what happened. This is what I believe happened.
Okay. This is revelation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Let's go. Let's hear.
So
let's hear. Tell me.
The commission, the black commissioners and the white commissioners were on point.
On point.
They were on point.
Okay.
Because black people, we had the Willie Lynch tactics. That's on point.
Okay.
We separate ourselves. We separate each other. Fighting over cash.
Fighting over cash.
And the white people were on point because they basically
Let us know.
are still practicing racism.
Okay.
Now, racism is a contest between ethnic groups for money, resources, and power. That's what racism is. Racism has to do with economics.
Yes.
That's all racism is economics. It's a competition between different groups. Okay? Now, you have, and this is what was going on. This is the revelation.
Okay.
This is what God gave me
Okay.
this morning at 2 o'clock.
Okay. AM or PM?
a.m.
He usually up early.
Yes.
Let's go.
So we were dealing with a spirit of Sambo and Jezebel.
The words we talked about this morning. It sounded like he.
That's number one.
Sambo and Jezebel.
There's a spirit of Sambo and Jezebel. We were dealing with malignant narcissism. You can look that up when you can. We're also dealing with what they call as a term of meritorious manumission. And then the bottom line is we're dealing with the inappropriate behavior of black people, particularly black men. That's what happened. We're dealing with the fruits of what the commission is doing. That's the fruits of inappropriate behavior of black people, particularly black men. Let me tell you a story. In Africa, they had this herd of elephants. And for some reason, these elephants were destroying villages. They were destroying the farmers' crops. And they were just running all over the place. And they were trying to figure out, they called the scientists in, trying to figure out what is wrong with this elephant herd, okay? They found out that they had all female elephants and adolescent males in this herd of elephants and no bulls. What they did is they went to another part of Africa. They picked up 3 bulls, dropped them in the middle of this herd.
Yeah, absolutely.
In 2 weeks, that family and that herd was in order.
Yep. Yep.
Black men in this community, our elders, black men who have been here, need to address, like we're doing right now, addressing and calling out and checking. We check men first. But we're dealing with a Sambo. It's a Sambo out there. But we got to check him and them. We are to cover our women. Okay? These are the lists that we're covering. We are to cover LaJune Tabor. We are to cover her. We are to cover Kim Carter, Faye Nelson, Alana White, Kyra Wallace, Maud Bristol, and Mildred Mallard. We men.
Add the KCC lady on there.
Yes, and what's her name?
I don't know, but you know her name.
Our president at KCC. I forgot her. My apologies. Those are the women that men, we, are to cover. It is my job to make them look good. And it's my job also, if they get out of order, to put them back in order. Because they're leading. It is our job as men to cover our women in power in these decision-making positions. That's what we are to do. But what we have failed to do, that young lady, the young commissioner, Ward 2, Janaisha.
Yeah.
Janaisha gets a pass because she young and they got to her. They was in her ear. The Jezebel spirit and the Sambo spirit was in Janaisha's ear. It's no way that Janaisha should have voted no for New Level Sport. She used to work for me. She knows. But somebody, a deceptive spirit, got in her ear to make her say no to New Level Ministries and Kingdom Builders. It's none of my business what, and I told Bishop this. We've been friends for a long time. If the community says, oh, I thought y'all didn't get along, is something wrong with our family? I'm talking about the black family. No white man should be telling our community and two black men, I thought y'all don't get along. That's the Willie Lynch tactic. What are you doing? There's something wrong with us. That's inappropriate behavior, and that caused the fruit of that. If I have something that I need to talk to Bishop about, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to pick up the phone and call him. I'm not listening to what you're saying about him. I'm not listening to what they say about him. If I got a problem with him, I'm calling him and saying, hey, I don't think that was cool. And guess what? That'll never leave our conversation. That'll never get in public. We are acting inappropriately as black people. What we saw at the commission was the fruit of inappropriate. And Nakia Bayless, I forgot Nakia Bayless.
Yes.
Nakia Bayless is on that list too.
Yes.
Nakia Bayless is brilliant. Nakia Bayless is sharp, she's brilliant, and she's a lady. And she's quick. She brought the Village Network together. And the only ones that are giving her all this craziness in the group are black folks. Inappropriate behavior of the black members of that group. Those members in that group, the black members, didn't want Pastor Smith rather, in the group.
He's telling it.
Community, this is catalyzing community giving. This is for black and brown people. This is not a club. This is for everybody.
Wow.
He's black. You had members, black members of the group, and you can go to the site and see who those black members are, that did not want Bishop Tino Smith in the group. The only one. Didn't want him in the group. But it's not up to him. I'm the chairman of that group.
Look at your camera, DJ.
Okay? I'm the chairman of the group. And now, and we're getting ready to do what we have to do to move the Village Network forward to include every black organization in this community. Okay? We are dealing with a Sambo and a Jezebel. Let me explain what a Sambo is. See, Uncle Tom fought against the white system. If I call you Uncle Tom, I'm complimenting you.
Right, that's not a bad thing.
That's not a bad thing.
No.
Sambo, however.
Sambo, absolutely.
Sambo actually connected with the white man for only his benefit and the white man's benefit. So say you, Deacon, you connected with this white man and you sold out your own people to get what you want. That's Sambo. We had someone during this ARPA fund piece, because our queen, Nakia Bayless, did not bow down to something that they wanted. Going back and forth with this queen. I mean, this woman has brought millions of dollars to this community.
She has.
Nakia Bayless.
Yes.
And to attack her as a woman in front of white people and other brown people is a Sambo spirit, and it's a weak beta male.
Janisha did make a statement here. And she says, I don't get a pass for being young. I would love to explain why I voted how I did. There was a method behind it. I spoke to both of you and Bishop regarding ARPA, actually.
She didn't speak to me. Not about what her vote was. That's not true. No. That's not true. You didn't speak to me.
Yeah, and what she said is she was asking to share her reason, and I said I'm going to talk to you. And, I would not have a problem if Pastor want to be a part of it, he can. If those commissioners want to share their reasons, but personally, I know the reason. Pastor may know the reason, but if you want to share the reason to the community, then that's so be it. But I want to stay on line with what I'm hearing Pastor say because for the first time, God is doing some powerful things that will make us help our community better. So, Pastor, keep going.
Okay, so
Sambo, we got all that you mentioned.
A letter was sent to the commission.
Beta man.
A letter was sent to the commission saying, this person does not support the village network, which black people built, because they didn't get what they wanted.
And that's a black man too.
Black man.
Black man.
So I wrote a letter. I had to write a letter to the commission, and I hope they got it. But this is the letter I wrote to the commission. As chair of the Village Network, I am writing to emphasize the importance of your continued support of Battle Creek's communities of color. While the pandemic has been difficult on everyone, it has been particularly hard on BIPOC communities, and gaps in education, employment, and access to health care now appear to be chasms. Our communities traditionally suffer from a lack of resources. The generous funding and opportunities represented by American Rescue Plan funding seem like the long-awaited solutions to so many of our challenges. The Village Network is a collective of different organizations working towards a shared goal. This work is difficult, but our members understand and overcome setbacks together. I am disappointed that this opportunity has exposed a fault line in the Village Network, but I assure you that we are united in our belief that we are stronger together and that we can address the needs of our communities more effectively by working together. Like you, we are working towards a stronger, more sustainable Battle Creek. We look forward to joining with you in this work in the same spirit of collaboration that characterizes the Village Network. I sent that to every commissioner, and I copied the city manager and the assistant city manager because of the nonsense that was going on with the village, particularly the inappropriate behavior of black people.
Okay. So with that being said, Pastor McCoy has an assignment on his life to do things the way God leads him, and that's my place to follow him in that area. And God has given me an assignment to lead people in the direction that we should go. I'm going to stick with the political aspect of it. I'm going to mention these councilmen. I'm a firm believer as a former commissioner, if you don't represent the people or you don't represent the district, I don't care what color you are, you need to be removed. That's just the bottom line. Representation means I don't believe in being a Republican or Democrat. I believe in voting in a block. I've said that for the longest. If we had a 500 people, 600 people, 1,000 people came together and voted for people that would support our agenda, we'll be a lot better off. We thought we did that. At least I thought we did that. The commission is set up in a way today that, hey, we should be able to get whatever we want. But unfortunately, that did not happen. Because I haven't been in the community as long, because I left in 1990 and just came back 3 years ago, Ferris, vice mayor. Before I read her off, who is Ferris? I'm going to need you to coach me on some of these people.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Okay.
The only
let me read these names.
Okay.
So let me skip.
Right.
So I think she's the vice mayor. She didn't mention my organization, Pastor McCoy organization, in the top 10 at all. So she clearly never been to our church, or never came to a football game, or never watched a YouTube video, or never saw a driver's ed car, or never saw a New Level Sports, or never saw Pastor McCoy. Clearly, she don't know you.
Let me say one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Our village plan has been on the desk at the city since 2015.
So you said she know you?
They got to know something.
I'm just keeping this thing going
Since
here.
2015.
So Ferris, whoever you are, wherever you came from, If you are at large, then you're not representing me well at all, and you're not representing him well at all. Now, if you have a small area, I will look you up, but I know you're the vice mayor, and if you would love to talk to us, we'll be glad to talk to you. But Burma, Community Action, Voices, Black Sheep, Share Center, and the Music Center was ranked top 5. Okay, Lance. Lance is in my district because I live in that area. Lance didn't even acknowledge and shake my hand, and I didn't know who he was. He's an attorney, I do know that. However, he's in the Lakeview district. I need somebody who's interested in running for that area. Because if he cannot even consider us, talk to us, make sense out of us, then he's not a person of representation. He put Burma number 1, Charitable Union number 2, Music Center number 3, Voices number 4, and What I Do Theater number 5. See, I don't know these organizations, Pastor, so maybe you can help me out, but let me move on. Sophia. She, same scenario for Sophia. Don't know if you're at large. Don't know if you have your own private area. I don't know you. Forgive me. Burma Center number 1. Community Action number 2. What I Do Theater number 3. Kingdom Museum number 4. And the Music Center number 5. Sophia. And the lady with the 2 last names, Sadia Wilson. Don't know who you are again. I saw all y'all on the board, so I know match-wise who you are, but never met you. And if you all are at large, it seemed like you would have met us and met Pastor McCoy, because at-large commissioners should get out in their district. You should at least came and had a free pizza in our cafeteria. I wouldn't charge you. Voices number 1, Community Action number 2. She did give us catalyzing community giving. She did do that. Number 3, Share Center number 4, Calhoun County Homeless Coalition number 5. Again, you, my friend, was nowhere listed at all. so I want to say this to you all. Even though we both did get the money we asked for, we're appreciative of it. We just don't like, I speak for myself, I just don't like how it went down. And I love what Pastor McCoy stated about this whole Woody Lynch mindset, this whole mentality of divide and conquer. And now let's talk about solutions, Pastor. We've shared what happened. We got a few more minutes. What can we do starting today to heal the wounds,
First of all,
solve the problem?
we cannot be offended.
Okay.
We cannot be offended.
Okay, I'm not offended.
No, I'm talking about the commissioners.
Oh, they will be.
Well, I'm only focusing in on our black sisters.
They will be too.
Yeah. Well, but I'm saying we cannot be offended because we're leaders. They're public servants.
Yes, sir.
They're
Yes, sir.
going to be criticized.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I will say Carla has marched with us. Carla's marched with us. Carla has really supported the black community, period.
Just skip the east side.
I know her. Okay, I know her. Because the rubrics, and just like I said, it was over their head. All right?
You did the right thing.
However, we cannot be offended. We need black men first. We need to come together and begin to talk about what is our plan for this community.
Okay.
Black men. Okay? We need to make sure that we tell our black queens that are leading at KCC, at CCG, Nakia, Mildred, Ahmad, LeJune, Kim Carter, Faye Nelson, Alana White, Kyra Wallace. I don't care if you disagree with them. We must tell them we have their back. We're going to support them as men. Then our men, we need to check these brothers.
And Dr. Sherelle on that list.
And Dr. Sherelle, you're right.
Since
You're
we're
right.
adding that to the list with the
Yes.
women. Protect her.
Yeah.
Go ahead. These men. Get these men right.
We got to check these young men. And we cannot be afraid to check them. Okay? I've been criticized. They talked about my dad and been talking about my dad and my family.
You're PK. You know how that works.
Since 1969.
Right. Right. You know all about
I'm impervious to criticism. Because you're talking about me now. I can look in a person's face and know they're talking about me and love them. Because it's not about them, it's about the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. That's what it's about. So, first of all, the black men got to get together. Now, this is what I'm going to say, Bishop.
We got about 3 minutes, so
Okay.
hit your spot. Hit your spot.
This program,
Yes, sir.
this is going to turn into a conversation of men, black men, strategizing, doing what we do. We already got the land.
Yep.
We got a golf course. Not me, us. We got a golf course. We got the businessmen. We got brilliance around us, man. I'm talking about high level. I'm an economics major. That's why I understand money in numbers. We have brilliance around us. We have to come together and we have to talk about it and speak about what we're doing. We got philanthropists like Dr. Glass. He gives money. Okay? We got the Stewart family, been giving money for years, millions of dollars. The McCoy family, been giving money for years. You just don't know where it's going. So men, we're going to get together offline. And only those men that are not going to take what we saying and yapping to these women.
Well, Bishop,
What
Pastor,
we gonna do?
we love everything that we heard. Deacon, you were our moderator to a degree. I don't know if anybody said anything else, but anything you want to say real quick, about 1 minute before we close?
A lot of positives. I think this show has gotten more views up front than any other show we've had.
Well, they had Pastor McQuick came on the show. That's right.
But
What they wanted to see what was going to happen. That's why they.
And he created the ratings.
But there's a lot of people in our corner right now, and a lot of supporters online. So, a lot of good comments.
But because I don't want to mess up the names. I know them all, but why don't you recognize your brothers that did come on the show?
The brothers that came with me, Eric Stewart, Dr. Dotson, and Carl Turner.
Good brothers. All
Came
good
with
brothers.
me to support us, the start of this group. I'm going to ask Dr. Glass to, and we got to get together and start this men's fellowship again, so we can talk strategy.
Yeah.
All of us.
Yeah.
If we got beef with each other, we can take care of that offline.
As men.
As men.
That's right. And Brother Keith Matthews, for sure.
Yeah,
A good brother, too.
I made sure Keith Matthews got that money from the Washington Heights Entrepreneur Fund.
I saw that.
He's been in this for 30 years, and you can't buy him a building.
Hello,
Please.
y'all. It's great. It's great. You know, one of the things you're supposed to have to network in power, you got to have a globe and a map. You got to know where you're going. And you know what? Today, I think we're starting to see a globe and a map. The present time. Chronicles chapter 12:32 says, of the sons of Issachar who had understanding of the times to know what Israel ought to do. I think today it's coming to fruition. Men of God, women of God, friends, family, resources everywhere around us. We don't discriminate. We love everybody. But at the end of the day, we must take care of our people. In my closing, I always acknowledge my ancestors, Leo Dale Perry Sr. and Ruby Elizabeth Perry, maternal grandparents on my mother's side. And my mom's still alive and living and strong and well. She'll be having a birthday coming up soon, March 16th. My mother, Georgia Lee Perry Howard. And on my father's side is Edward West Smith, where I got my name from. Gussie Smith, my paternal grandparents, and the great late father, Hugh Daniel Smith Sr. Hey, y'all, this is great. I'm just glad to be next to my good friend. He's a PK, great man of God, loved his father. Father was very inspirational to me. Now we're here together working in the vineyard. This doesn't mean Pastor McCoy and I will go have dinner tomorrow, but you better believe we're talking to each other because we're the leaders that's going to make a difference. Let's pray together, all three of us, like we always do. Pastor, I usually dismiss in prayer, but go ahead and dismiss us.
Father, thank you for this fellowship. Thank you for what you've done for us. It's a changing of the guard, which means a changing of our minds. Lord, we're going to get in order. Our men are going to lead this community. We're going to strategize, and we're going to take our community to higher heights. We thank you, we love you, and we praise you. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, God. All right, man.